Anyone having a doubt on the yesterday's class? The relationship of nodes? Fine.
No, sir.
Let me share my screen. We will be discussing here. The next topic is commands. Okay. We're discussing about browser command. What is meant by browser commands? So in browser commands, we have two different commands. One is close, another one is a quit. See, this both command is used to close the browser. Okay, both the command is used to close the browser, but close will only close a single window. It will close only the single window. Parallelly, or we can say quit method, it will close multiple windows. Why? Anyone having any idea why it is closing a only single window and the quit method will close multiple window, or we can say all the window, all the open window. Any idea? So when we are doing automation, okay, we need to understand one thing. Here we have an object. Here we have an object. Object is a driver, correct? So this driver always interact only with the parent window. Okay, that you need to remember always. By default, the driver will interact always only with the parent window. Due to this, we are getting the multiple methods. So due to this concept, we will be encountering with multiple concepts. Okay. So there one of the concept is browser commands. So due to the driver file will the driver object is only interacting with the parent window. Due to that, the close method is closing only a single window. So on that quit method is able to close the multiple window. So the method has been implemented in that way. Okay. Fine. Let me show some example. We see this one. Let's see some this one. Okay. So before to that, we need to understand one more thing. I forgot to say that. In Selenium, we have three different types of links. Okay, three different types of links. Okay, what are the links? One is internal link. Next one is a external link. Third one is a broken link. This link 99% we won't encounter in production application. Okay, we doesn't encounter with the production application, production deployed application, deployed application. This tooling is a common link. Okay. So what is maybe broken link? So whenever we are opening any application, we will end up with some error. Like there will be some request code also we will be getting. So when we are trying to open any application, it will say that 401, 400, 404, unable to open that internal server error. So these kind of all the error message are coming under broken link. Okay. The URL which is we are trying to use to open the application, that links are get broken, which is not able to interact with the API. Okay, broken link. So this kind of error message we will be expecting when we are opening any application. Okay, those applications are considered as a broken link. But this most of the well in progress, the in usage under the progress in the production, we cannot encounter with this sub error. When the application is getting removed from the usage, similarly, when the application is under testing, sometime we will be expecting these kind of errors. Okay, fine. We'll move on to the internal and the external error. So internal error is nothing but, see, when I'm trying to click the link is nothing but the hyperlink. Okay, when I am interacting with the element, that element having a link, which I'm clicking that, it is redirecting into the same page. Into the same page is called the internal link. Okay, internal link. But sometimes when we trying to interact with the application which is opening externally in the new tab, in the new window, that is called externally. Okay, so always the internal link will be taken care by only the close method. When we are clicking any link which is opening separate window, that window is an external link. So driver cannot able to move from the parent window to the child window. So the external links are child window. Okay. But driver will be interacting with here. It cannot able to interact here. So due to that purpose, the close method cannot able to close all the open the application or open the pages. It can only close only the current parent page. So in order to close the child window or multiple windows, whatever the window which is opened, we can use a quit method. This is one of the interview question. Okay, what is the difference between the close method and the quit method? Okay, let's see some example. Driver dot get method. I'm opening the application and I'm trying to interact with the driver dot find element by dot export. So it's a link, right? So I don't want to interact or inspect directly. I can create that. Partial link text. I'll be using the partial keyword forgotten. Okay. Forward to the case, everything will be the same, right? Fine. So we need to click this. So opening the application, After clicking this application, before to that, I want to maximize this application. In order to that, we have to call the method called maximize window. It will maximize the current window. Then we are finding the element and clicking the element. Finally, and so after clicking this, what will happen? We will have a multiple pages. Sorry, multiple windows. So I'm using driver.close first. Then we can see driver.quit method. Let me try to run this program. See, okay, it is very fast actually. Let me make some weights here. That's for 10 seconds. So in order to visualize the automation, okay. So it is opening the application, maximizing data. After clicking, it is opening a new window. See, currently it is having a two windows. One is a parent, another one is a child. So by using the close method, now I have given the time.c for 10 seconds. So it has waited for 10 seconds. After completion the second, it closed only the parent window. It not close the child window. Okay. It is due to because the driver always will be interacting only with the parent window. In that approach, the close method is working. So in order to close the multiple windows, we can use the driver.quit method. Okay. May that one more time. Maximizing it. Clicking this, we have now multiple windows. We are waiting for 10 seconds. Then it will be closing all the opened windows. So now it got closed all the windows because the quit method can able to jump from one window to the another window. It can able to identify all the open window. So that is the purpose we can able to close this quit method. So these are the difference between the close method and quit method, and it's working actually. Any doubts so far?
When we use it will close only one window, right? So that window will be the latest open window, or how it will choose which window to close?
It is always parent window. See, close method will be the parent window. We need to understand what is meant by parent window, what is meant by child window. Okay. So let me show. That is why I have explained about the internal link and the external link. Okay. For example, I'm opening this application, maximizing it, and I'm trying to interact with this link. So once I click this link, you can see it is opening into new window. It is opening a new window, which means that this is external link. Okay, it's external. So now I have a two windows, parent window, child window. According to the automation, the driver still cannot able to recognize this page because driver will be always interacting with the parent window because we are using driver to find the element and we are doing the action over in the parent window only. We haven't do anything in the child window. We are just closing the window. So driver is still there. So it cannot able to recognize the child window. So that is why close method having the same nature how the driver is working. That is why close method cannot able to understand or cannot able to recognize the child window. So it cannot able to close the child window. That is why close close method always close the current page. Current page means where the driver file is interacting. So here the driver file is interacting with the parent page. So that is why the close method only can able to close the parent page. But quit method is something slightly different. It can able to close all the opened windows. So that is why quit method can able to close the multiple windows. Did
Got
I
it.
answer
Yes,
your
yes,
question? Yeah.
yes, yes.
So this command is called a browser commands. Fine. Any doubt? Let me move to the next topic. Weights. Weights. One of the important topic. Okay. In real time, we will be interacting multiple places, and in the interview aspect also, there will be own questions. What is meant by weights and why we require the weights and what are the types of weights we have? In the name itself, we can able to understand that it is using for it is used to weight. It is used to weight. Why we require the weights? Sometime we will be having an issue with the application, which application we are doing the automation, we will be facing some issue. Or sometime we want to freeze the page, or we can make the program to sleep for some time in order to take a screenshot or validation, whatever it is. We need to some action. In order to that, we need a weights. So main purpose of weights is response. Okay, server response. Server response. So what is mean by server response? So for example, I'm giving an input. This is a reload page. Okay, for example, I'm opening this application. When I'm opening this application, what will happen? It will loading. See, it is loading, right? What is mean that? When it is loading, whatever the inputs, the request we are given, it is going into the API. I mean, it is going into the server and it fetch the detail for this URL and it is giving the response. Sometime what will happen? We may face this manually as previously. This loading time will take for a long time. It keep on slow. Maybe our internet issue or the response is coming from the server is delayed, or maybe the URL will not working properly due to the broken link. So if the response is getting delayed, what will happen? It will loads keep on. When in real time, the application which you are doing the automation, if the application loading more than 120 seconds, your program will fail. By default, the driver object will wait for 120 seconds without giving any waits. It will wait for 120 seconds. What the driver will do for 120 seconds? It will wait. For example, if it is loading, imagine that the page is loading, keep on loading. We are not getting the response from the application. These elements are still not loaded. Okay, it is loading, loading, loading. So what will happen? This driver will wait by default. It will wait for 120 seconds in order to the entire elements getting loaded properly. If it is taking more than 120 seconds, what will happen? The program will fail normally. So in that scenario, this is the first scenario. Or sometime what will happen? When we are interacting with any specific element, okay, maybe what will happen? The entire page maybe get loaded. We may get the response from the server correctly. The specific element will take a time to load. Will time take to load or some time take to display or it will take some time to enable. In that scenario, we can use waits. We are waiting to the element or the application to load completely. Because how the program is working, whatever the lines of program we have made, that should be synchronized with the application. So for example, when I'm opening this application using this URL, it should get the response from the server properly. In the parallel mode, all the elements should load and it should ready for the interaction. Then what will happen? The interpreter going to the next page. Once it is getting completed, immediately the interpreter moving to the next line. And it will maximize the window. When it will maximize the window, once all the elements are loaded properly, it is ready to interact. Then only it is moving to, it is clicking the maximizing window. Once it is maximizing the window, again, we are getting the response from the server because once I am maximizing the window, there is some short term of the loading is happening, right? The element should align properly. It should resize the desktop, right? It resizes the application, right? So again, the element should reload properly. Then what will happen? The next line, the driver trying to find the element, what the element we are trying to interact. If in this line, the respective element is not loaded properly or not able to interact properly within the 120 seconds, the 120 seconds is only for loading the URL, not for the respective element interaction. Okay. Once the URL is getting loaded, if we are in this line, immediately it will try to interact. For example, the interpreter is in this line. It is trying to find the element. What are the element we have given? It is trying to element and it is trying to do the action, clicking action. In that scenario, it is not loaded properly. It is not able to interact. Maybe it is not created the hyperlink in the backend. What will happen? We will end up with the error. So in this scenario, we can create a wait. We can create a wait in order to reload we are waiting. We are saying to the driver, hey driver, please wait for maximum until this second in order to completely the element getting created or getting completely it is loaded. So normally when we are saying a weights in Selenium, we have two different types of weights. One is implicit weight and explicit weight. But apart from this, we have some other weights, but we cannot say the term wait for this. Okay, we will be using sometime time dot sleep. This is not a wait. Okay, the difference you should understand. This time.sleep is belongs to Python. Okay, because this is a separate building library. From the building library, we are using sleep method. We are using a sleep method. But this implicit wait and explicit wait is belongs to the Selenium. Belongs to Selenium. What is the difference? There is a huge difference. Is this also we can make the program to sleep. This also we can make program to. We are not making the program to sleep. We are making the application. We are waiting for the application to load completely. That is an entire difference between this. There may be a question in the internet. Why we require to use time.sleep? Why we require to use explicit wait and implicit wait? This time.sleep is provided by Python. So this doesn't interact with the web elements. Why? Because here we are using time as an object. But when we coming into that implicit wait or explicit wait, we are using driver as an object. Driver as an object. See, we are using driver as an object. The driver is belongs to Chrome browser. Driver is belongs to Chrome browser. So the element is loading in the Chrome browser. So the implicit wait can able to interact with the respective element. What are the elements we are waiting for? But here we are using time.sleep. This time is belongs to built-in methods of Python. So it cannot able to interact with the web elements. That is the first disadvantage. Okay. The second disadvantage is, for example, first time when I'm opening this application and trying to interact with this element, the first time the loading of this element is taking 5 seconds. 5 seconds. So what I will do, if it is taking a 5 second, I will give time.sleep for some plus or minus value. Not it should be a large difference. If it is a 5 seconds, we can give either up to 7 seconds. Okay, so what will happen? It will loaded into the 5 seconds. Then we can able to. We are waiting for 7 seconds. Then after completing the 7 seconds, what will happen? We are ready to interact. But in the next run, in the sequential run, we are doing one more testing in sequential mode. At the time, what will happen? This link it's taking more than 10 seconds because the response is getting from the server is more than 10 seconds. Then what will happen? Again, we need to switch over to 10 seconds. Okay. Now what will happen? We are using something 12 seconds here. Something 12 seconds. 12 seconds. In the third run, okay, for example, in the third run, what will happen? This element is loading immediately. Okay, we are getting the response from the server immediately. It is not loading. Then what will happen? The program should wait for 12 seconds because it doesn't know. Give me I'm sorry, guys. Back. So the third run, in the third run, if this element is loading immediately, okay, the server is responding correctly, then what will happen? This program should wait for 12 seconds, even though the element is immediately loaded. But that is not the expectation, correct? Okay, because we are making our program to slow for 12 seconds. So likewise, if we are using a time.sleep randomly over in the application, in the code development, in all the wherever we are facing a challenges to interact with the element, if we are using the time.sleep, then what will happen? Obviously, the program will sleep for the respective seconds. The program will delay. Program will slow. So I won't always, I'm not suggesting to use time.sleep in Selenium automation. Selenium automation. I'm not suggesting. In rare case, okay, there is no option to create a wait using implicit wait and explicit wait. In that only scenario, I will suggest to use time.sleep. Unless otherwise, we should not use time.sleep. Okay, it is my personal suggestion because we are doing the automation. We are using Selenium. The Selenium already having a wait. Then why we require a time.sleep? It is not belongs to Selenium. Okay. So when we are doing any code development using some specific library, okay, some specific library, we should use all the inbuilt methods using those specific library. We should not use other than that. If we have a no chance, if we have a no option, then we can use. That is different case. Fine. So these are the disadvantages for time.sleep. Okay. To overcome with this, we are using implicit wait. Okay, we can use implicit wait. The first thing in the implicit wait, it will interact with web elements. And always remember that whatever the value we are providing here, inside the sleep method or inside the time.sleep, that is a seconds. Okay, that is a seconds, not minute. If we want to wait for 2 minutes, then we need to provide as a 120. Okay, because whatever the by default, it is accepting only the seconds. Okay, and it is a float data type. We should use float. If we haven't provided the float, if we are giving the whole number, by default it will be taking as a float. Okay, so the float is the expectation here. Yeah. Then the advantages, it will interact with the web elements. The second advantages is we have seen the third run, right? If I'm giving a 12 seconds, okay, in the second run I'm giving the 12 seconds. Then in the third run, it is responding immediately. Then what will happen? This implicit wait will interact with the elements, right? So it can able to recognize that, okay, the element is loaded properly, we are ready to interact. So it won't wait for up to the 12 seconds. Once it get loaded, immediately it will able to interact. So it doesn't wait to the provided seconds. It doesn't wait to the provided seconds once the element is loaded. It will immediately interact. That is the advantages of implicit wait. Then third advantage is I'm creating implicit wait in line number 253. Okay, 253. Under the below, whatever the line are there for Selenium automation, this implicit will work for all the lines. We don't want to create the implicit wait for rest of the lines. For example, Let me show you some example. Okay, real-time program. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay. So, for example, I'm opening the URL. Okay. Immediately, what I'm doing, I'm creating a driver.implicit. Okay. I know that. Okay, because I know that means when you are doing the automation, you will come to know that this URL we might face some challenges over in the loading perspective. So what will happen? Immediately you can provide a time.sleep, driver.implicit wait, and you can provide some random seconds. And one more thing, okay, one more thing. It is my personal suggestion. Okay, my personal suggestion. If we are using an implicit wait or time.sleep or explicit wait, you can maximum you can provide a 10 to 15 seconds, or very rare case we can push to 20. Okay, don't use more than 20 seconds, because if we are giving a more than 20 seconds, then there is no purpose of that code development. Okay, there is no purpose of code development, because the code development should be very fast. That is expectation. Correct. Otherwise, the user will face challenges when we are doing interaction manually. If you are giving the, for example, 50 seconds, I'm giving a implicit wait for 50 seconds. What will happen? The development is not expected. The development working is not as expected. You can raise a bug. You can raise a bug for the specific whatever the element it is taking up to 50 seconds or 40 seconds to interact with the respective element. Okay, so we can push up to maximum 20 seconds that are advisable. Okay, this is my personal opinion, because when any application is developed, that should work properly. Otherwise, it will be questionable in the production perspective. But so where we have missed implicit wait. Yeah, implicit wait. These are the advantages of implicit wait. Then we have some disadvantages in implicit wait. Sorry, I missed something. For example, I'm opening the application and I have given the implicit wait here. So this will work all the lines below to this, all the lines. For example, if this page is getting loaded, we are trying to interact with any element, this implicit wait will work here. Same it will work here. Same it will work here. So implicit wait will work below to all the lines, but it should be visible only within the class. That is important. Okay, within the class. If you have a multiple classes and that got inherited, then it doesn't work in the other class. Okay, so implicit wait always work only within the class. That you need to remember. Then, and the implicit wait won't interact above to that line, because the implicit wait we are creating in line number 245, right? So it doesn't know whether 244 is there or not. It is created or not. Okay, the action has completed already. So it doesn't know. So whatever the lines is below to that line number 245, only implicit wait will work. So this is the advantage. But the disadvantages is when In the first time when we are running the application trying to interact, we are using 5 seconds. But in the second run, it is loading the element taking more than 5 seconds. Then what will happen? For example, 10 seconds, then we are giving it 10 seconds. In the third run, again, it will be moving to 15 seconds. So we are giving a 15 seconds. So likewise, we cannot able to increment. What will happen? In the run, whatever the seconds we have provided, the taking time to load of the respective element is taking more than 15 seconds. What will happen? The program will end up with error, right? Unable to interact. In this scenario, implicit wait will fail. We cannot able to use implicit wait. In this scenario, we can use explicit wait. Okay. Remember that always implicit wait and time dot sleep work based on the time. It works based on the time, but explicit wait will work based on the condition. Based on the condition. The code implementation perspective and the working nature is different for explicit wait. Okay, let's see some example. How to create the explicit wait. For creating explicit wait, we needed two things. Okay, explicit wait. One is wait declaration, then condition declaration. This two part we require when we creating an explicit. Let me show you some example. See, this is explicit wait. Okay, so when we are creating explicit wait, this is wait declaration. This line is line number 64 is wait declaration, and line number 65 is condition declaration. So in order to create the wait declaration, we need to create an object for WebDriver wait class. Okay, there is a class called WebDriver wait. It is coming from Selenium import wait. So we need to import that. We want to import that because we are using the WebDriver. WebDriver wait is a class. So we need to create the declaration. WebDriver wait. This WebDriver wait having a four different parameters. One is driver, another one is a timeout, another one is a pull frequency, another one is a ignored exception. What it will do? Here, driver is nothing but which browser we want to open, the object which we have created, right? Which we have created, that is our driver. So we need to pass. Then the second argument is timeout. This timeout is what is the maximum time we are providing here. So we have providing so for 12 seconds and 10 seconds, right? That is a timeout here. For example, I'm giving a 10 seconds. Third one is a pull frequency. What is meant by pull frequency? It is an important concept. Okay. Pull frequency is nothing but it is an interval. It is an interval. This concept makes explicit wait making more advantage. These two concepts, pull frequency and ignored exceptions, because these two Additional parameter we are using in only in the explicit wait. Full frequency is nothing but it is an interval. Okay. Always full frequency should be less than the timeout. Okay, whatever the timeout we have given, it should be less than to that. Okay, if we have provided more than 15, then there is no meaning. It won't work. Okay, I will tell you how it is working. So the timeout 10 means I will be giving it 2 here for full frequency. How the full frequency will work? As I said, full frequency is the interval. Interval calculation is based on timeout. We have given the 10 seconds, correct? Then full frequency is the we have given as a 2 divided by 2. So then we will have a 5. This 5 is the interval. The 5 is the interval. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 interval separated into for 2 seconds. It is for 2 seconds. Third interval for 2 seconds. Fourth interval for 2 seconds. Fifth interval for 2 seconds. So the interval timeout has been splitted into 5 interval, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. So what will happen? Give me a minute. Imagine that this is our browser. Okay. Browser, we have some random elements. Okay. There are some button we are trying to interact. So when we start our automation, what will happen? The driver will be coming here. Driver will be interacting with the parent page. So for example, when we have to interact with this element. Okay, this is a button. Okay, we want to click this button. So we have created the explicit wait for this. So what will happen? When we created the interval 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 5 intervals we have, right? This driver will wait. First 2 seconds, it will wait. Then it will go to here and it will check whether the element is presented, visible or enabled or not. In the next 2 seconds, it will go. And third 2 seconds, it will go. Likewise, in the each interval, we have 5 intervals, right? 5 interval, it will go and it will check for the element get visible or enabled or not. But this option we doesn't have in the implicit wait. Implicit wait, simply it will wait in order to load the element. It doesn't go and check specifically the element is loaded or enabled or visible or not. This nature of working, we are using a full frequency. We are creating an interval here. Then final is the exception. Exception. Ignored exception. Sorry, ignored exception. What is meant by ignored exception? In the implicit wait, what we have seen, if the element is not interactable in within 12 seconds, what will happen? In 12 seconds, we will get the exception. Unable to interact, unable to interact, unable to load, unable to load. These are the exceptions we may face when we are trying to interact with the element and it is not loaded or visible or not interactable. We will get the exception. These exception we can provide here. We can provide here. For example, we are expecting some specific exception. Some specific exception. For example, unable to interact. This is an exception. Okay. This is an exception. Minute, we will check. Okay, unable to exception. String should not be there. Okay. String should not be there. Unable to interact. So we can provide the specific exception here. Specific exceptions. Specific the type of the exception. Then what will happen when we are running? If the element is not visible within the 10 seconds, what will happen? The driver try to create the exception, unable to interact. Then this parameter will identify that, okay, it will ignore that exception. It will ignore that exception and it will try to interact with the next element. Okay. So this is an optional case. Sometimes we may require, if the element is not interactable, we need the exception. Sometimes we don't want the exception. When we don't want the exception, we can generate this. If you are not familiar with, or if you are not able to guess that what type of the error we are expecting when we are running the program, then simply what we can give, you can provide the exception. This is a common error, common keyword. This exception will handle all the base class exception. Sometimes any exception, even though if you are expecting, not expecting, unable to interact or unable to load or any error will handle by this. Okay, if you are more specific with the error, then you can specify the single error. Okay, so these are the parameters we should provide when we are generating the WebDriver weight. So what we have done here, we have created an object for the class and we have provided the value. This driver.weight, we have a constructor. It will initialize this value when the object is initialized. So this is called weight declaration. Weight declaration. Then according to the weight, we have some method. We have some inbuilt methods for this WebDriver.weight. So we can see here until or until not. We have two methods we can generate our condition using these two methods. What until will do, until not will do. Until and until not will handle two actions in same time. Okay, two actions. It will make a loop and it will act as a condition. Okay, until the element, whatever the element we are providing over in the condition, it will wait until the specific seconds. So that is why we are saying that until. If we don't want to wait, then we can use until not. I'm using until. I want to wait until the element is get loaded. Inside the until, we have to specify the condition. Because okay, so inside the until, we have to create the condition. We have to create the condition. What type of the condition we may expect? In order to that, we need to install this. Sorry, we need to import this. Okay, we need to import this expected conditions. It is from Selenium WebDriver support. From the support, we have a class called expected condition. What this expected condition will do? This expected condition having a list of or multiple conditions we can use that condition. What is the condition here? So we want to, when we are running a specific functionality, we may feel that whether we need to wait until the presence of element or until the visibility of the element or until the completely loaded the element, we come to know that when we are running the program. So according to that, we have to create the condition. For example, easy is the alias name. So dot, here we have the conditions, whether we need to wait presence of the element is located or visibility of the element is located, staleness, visibility of all element to be located. So we need to wait all the element to be located. So likewise, we have a multiple functions we have. So we can use multiple functions, any one of the functions according to the expectation, according to the functionality. Okay, we can create a condition. For example, here I want to wait visibility of the element located. So I want to interact with some specific element. That element I want to wait until the element get visible. What element to be visible, that I need to provide here. For example, I want to wait until this element. So what I can do, here we are using find element to finding this element, right? So here we are not using find element. Instead of find element, this method will take care of this. This method will take care to find element. Simply we can provide the type of element. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are waiting for 10 seconds until the visibility of this element. Visibility of this element. So once it's get visible within the 10 seconds, we are trying to treat this. If it is not visible, then we will get some exception. That exception we are handling this. So what will happen? That exception we are handling and it will ignore this error and it will jump into the next step of this element. Okay, so this is called condition declaration. Okay. So this is how we need to generate the explicit wait. Always remember that explicit wait, the condition declaration only specific for this element. But when we are coming into the implicit wait, what I have said, implicit wait will be visible for all the elements below to that within the class. So if we want to create, another condition, then what we need to do? We can create a separate condition. Wait dot until easy. Here we want to check presence of element for some other element. Here it is this visibility of element is only for this element. Here I want to try to create a condition to presence of element for the other element. But here the common is this object, wait object. Both will wait only for 10 seconds and it will ignore the exception. So what we can do here, we can create an object as a common. So wherever we require, we can use a specific method for the specific element. Likewise, we can create. Okay, but this wait is only for this element, not for all the lines which is below to that. Okay, this is a difference between explicit. This is a difference between the explicit wait and the implicit wait. Got it? Any doubt? Not understandable? Making confused?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, tell me.
So here in implicity wait, directly giving like driver dot implicity wait, but in the explicity wait, 2 times we're declaring here like wait equal to WebDriver, and again here wait until. So we need to declare first and then we need to use it.
Yes, because see, this method is generating from this class. So we need to create the object for this method, for this class, because this class having the certain parameter, which browser, until what time we need to wait, what type of interval, and what type of exception. So these are the things we need to define over in the class. Based upon that, we can say the condition. Without declaring the wait, we cannot able to see. I'm not using this. See, I'm getting the error. It is asking to import the wait. So we require an object for that. Both the lines are mandatory.
Got it. And then in implicity wait, so can you go up? So here it doesn't wait to provide seconds once the element is loaded. If we need to wait with like within the application, if it is loading in 3 seconds, then it will not wait for the 15 seconds. It will load within the 3 seconds itself. That is the meaning of it.
Yes, when the element is visible, for example, we have provided the maximum 10 seconds is 15. But if, for example, we have provided the 15 seconds, but this element is visible or ready to interact in 3 seconds, then it won't wait for 3 seconds. Immediately it will go and it will do the action.
Okay. So why we are actually in the project purpose while in the real time we are executing. So first we will be executing and then only we will get to know this
Yes.
application is taking time. So
Yes.
after that only we are giving this time wait time.
Yes. Because see, there is a lot of difference between when we are opening this application manually. Okay, I am opening this application manually, but the same application which I am doing from the automation, there is different. Okay, the automation works different and the manual interaction makes different. So when we come to know that, when we are doing the automation only, when we come to know that what are the challenges we are facing over in the application. Okay, sometimes the application may work correctly when we are handling manually, but in the automation it won't work. In that scenario only we have to handle that. What are the challenges and why the challenges we are raising, we are getting. That is why we are doing the automation, in order to understand the plus and minus wherever we are facing the challenges over in the application. Got it?
Okay, got it. So and the sleep is like to check whether like the application whether
No.
it is full.
No. Sleep method doesn't know about anything about the browser or application. It simply what it will do. For example, I'm running this script. Okay, I'm running this script. Okay, I'm running this script. What will happen? Okay, what will happen? It will first open this URL and it will wait for 15 seconds to maximize a window. Then by default, it will go for time.sleep for 12 seconds. Sleep for 12 seconds means Git will make the program to sleep. I will show you that.
Okay.
I'm just commanding the time.sleep. You can see when I'm running this code, immediately this both code will print at the same time in my terminal. But when I'm creating a time.sleep, what will happen? The first I will get the hello only. Then the program is under sleep mode for 10 seconds. After completion of the 10 seconds, the next line will get executed.
Okay.
Okay, so sleep method will make your program to sleep. The interpreter will go to the sleep mode for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, the interpreter get resumed to the next line.
Okay.
That is why the sleep method cannot or doesn't interact with the web browser.
Okay.
Any doubt? Any new joinees today? No? Okay, fine. Okay, if you have any doubt, let me know, or we can wind up the class. We can continue the class by tomorrow. Kavya, I'm saying today, Kavya. Kavya, are you new journey? Kavya, you there?
Sir?
Kavya, are you new joining?
So you're asking Kavya or Pavya, sir?
Kavya.
Yeah, I have the same question. You're asking Kavya or Pavya?
Kavya.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not a new joinee. I'm unable to attend for last 4 to 5 classes. But I have checking the recorded video later on.
So, okay. This is not your first class, right?
No, this is not my first class.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Kavya. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.